All right, howdy. This is Chris with roofingsites.com. We are going to go ahead and kick off our webinar. And just want to thank you so much for joining in today. This webinar is I run this a couple of times per year because I find that a lot of roofing companies don't really have their internet marketing right, and when I say right, we're going to go over kind of a blueprint of what I feel as a marketer is correct and what we should be doing in this day and age. My name is Chris Hunter. I am the Chief Marketing Officer for roofingsites.com. And I am also the Chief Marketing Officer of Marketing Heroes, which is our parent company. We've been in business since 2003. Doing work for all sorts of different verticals, all sorts of different industries. But in the past couple of years, about 4 years, we have been really just kind of concentrating on the roofing industry. And because we got a couple of roofing clients, around that time, and we were like, we kind of like working with these roofers, and we just kind of started building momentum as far as that goes. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. Let's see if I can get this going. And then we can just go through our internet marketing blueprint for 2022. All right. Here we go. All right. So what we're going to cover today is really just the four fundamentals of marketing, success. What I feel that as a marketer that really roofing companies should be doing on a daily basis, a monthly basis, and just really reevaluating every year what's working and what's not working in your marketing. We're going to go over some latest trends and really what to look for in 2022. There's a lot of things that are really out there, and that's one of the problems with marketing is that there's just so much to do. There's so much to concentrate on. There's new stuff all the time, so we're going to go over and just kind of boil it down into a few things that you can work on today. The other thing is that we're going to develop a custom plan and really develop this and find out what are the top 3 things that you need to be working on right now. Okay. So who am I? Again, my name is Chris Hunter. I'm the Chief Marketing Hero of Marketing Heroes. I like that title because it's makes me seem, kind of like a, superhero kind of thing, so I love superheroes. I love all the Marvel movies. I'm totally a geek about that kind of stuff. I live in College Station, Texas. I am a father of 3. And I've been doing search engine optimization, ranking websites on Google, ranking websites since 1998 when I was in the Air Force. And if you know your history of Google, that was actually before Google actually launched. My first website that I ranked was for my own website on Yahoo, right? I don't even think about Yahoo nowadays. It's just a not even a thought, but in fact, I don't even think that they run their own search engine anymore, and back then it was more of a directory. Google came along and just revolutionized the entire business and really revolutionized the entire marketing industry, for that matter. We've been running roofing sites since 2018 for the past 4 years. Like I said, we really like working with roofers and we liked getting them really, really good results. And back then this was search engine optimization that we were really concentrating on, really just our foundation, our background, and so a lot of what we're going to talk about today is search engine optimization. But there's other things really just to be looking for. My mission is to double the size of 100 roofing companies by 2025. This is near and dear to my heart. And we're going to talk at the end about some of the things that we are doing that I'm working on, that roofingsites.com is working on. And random fact, I love to smoke Texas style barbecue on the weekends. Pretty much every weekend, you're going to catch me on Sundays smoking either brisket or Sausage. I love smoking sausage, smoking flank steaks. Pretty much if it's beef, I'm smoking it. I do smoke a little bit of pork. I always use mesquite because I'm a West Texas boy. So I always use mesquite for absolutely the entire smoking process. Anyways, that's kind of one of my passions is, making really, really good barbecue. All right, so big question. What is the hardest part about marketing your roofing business online? Well, I think in my mind, and I literally talk to hundreds of roofers every single month. Every single one of them says there's just literally thousands of platforms. There's thousands of things to focus on. So, they're just not quite sure what to actually focus on. All right. So we're going to boil this down today, for you and build out this plan. We're going to tell you really what should you be focusing on right now. Right. And then at the end, we're going to talk about our top 3 things, because I'm a big believer in really, let's just focus on 3 things at a time. Build out, I'm a big believer in the Rockefeller habits, which is you build, rocks every quarter, and rocks are these really big things that you need to work on. Right. So if your search engine optimization is not correct, work on that. If your website is not correct, if it's not converting, let's work on that. So it's really just build 3 things that you're going to work on in the next 90 days. And then we're going to talk about some quick wins as well. Okay. So in the past 20 years, I've been working on a marketing system. And in fact, in this marketing system, I call it the 4R marketing system. Okay. This works, by the way, in all sorts of industries. It is an evergreen marketing system that it has 4 pillars, right? And in each of these pillars, what I'm going to go over here in a few minutes, they have, you want to make sure that you get things working correctly in each of these 4 pillars. Okay. So what do they stand for? The base, the foundation is your reputation. And that's simple, because you can't do anything at all in marketing. Nothing is going to work if your reputation stinks, right? Or is non-existent. And I see this all the time. I literally looked through 1,000 Google My Business accounts in 2020, right? I was bored. I was, we were on lockdown, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go through as many of these as possible and see what the trends are, right? And at the time, I wasn't looking for, I didn't know what I was looking for, right? And so I started going through these Google My Business accounts for, this list that I have of 1,000 roofers, in America, or 1,000 of the top roofers in America. And I started going through there, and I started noticing some trends. The biggest trend that I noticed was that very few of them concentrated on their online reviews at all. And the ones that did had like 200 or 300 reviews, right? And the ones that were obvious that they didn't do it only had like maybe 10, maybe 20, right? And we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but your online reputation is super, super important. When people go to research you, right, which they're going to do, they're going to go to your Google My Business first, right? They're going to go to your website. That's the reason that your a higher converting website is also on here, right? But they're going to go and not just Google My Business. They're going to go look around, right? They're going to put your name in the search engine, and if they're on their phone, guess what comes up number 1 right now? That's Google My Business, right? Your Google My Business listing with your online reviews, what people have said about you, is right there front and center. So in my mind, this is one of the biggest things that you should do and should focus on, from the get-go. And if you don't have 100 online reviews, then you need to start working on that. Okay. The other part of your reputation is a high conversion website. So one of the other things that people go and research when they're thinking about hiring you, even before they call you, right? Let's say that they've got an issue with their roof, and I'm talking residential or commercial at this point, right? And so they're gonna go and research you, right? They're going to go research, okay, who's on Google, all right, who's, and they're just going to go down the list unless they've worked with you before. Okay. Now, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, but you know, if they haven't worked with you, they're going to go to your website. They're going to go look at your reviews. If your website hasn't been updated in the past decade, right, in the past 10 years, you've got a big issue, because most people nowadays, and I'm going to grab my phone. Most people research. Most people look at things on the internet. They go to find things. They ask Siri now, right? They say, hey Siri, find me a roofing company. Okay, so these $1,000 machines that are sitting in every single person's pocket, or that are in everybody's hands, I mean, literally, if your website doesn't work on one of these things, you've got a huge issue, right? The other thing, right, that your website should do is convert, right? So part of that conversion process is making sure that it's clear what you do, that your website is personalized to your company. Okay, it's not just some theme that's out there with stock photography, right? You want to make sure that you have certain things on it, like pictures of you, or the owner, pictures of the staff, pictures of jobs that you've worked on, right? These things are important because and I've been in web design a really, really long time, right? Literally since 1998. So and it's gone full tilt, different than what it has in the past, in the fact that in 1998, all the way up through really up until the past 5 years, me, as when I designed any website, I'd go to stock photos, bigstock.com or whatever, and get roofing photos, right? And get photos from there, just stock photography, right? And that was kind of the way that we did it in the web design industry. Well, nowadays, people see those and they think, okay, well, is this a real company? Okay, is this a company that is actually in my area? And those things kind of float through people's minds. So it's important to have a little bit of personalization on the website. Another thing that makes websites convert are having clear call to actions, right? Me as a marketer, that's a CTA. This is a no-brainer, right? And I mean, it's literally something that's ingrained in me. But as most roofing companies don't understand what this means, right? And they'll put one call to action on their entire website, right? And wonder why the phone isn't ringing. Okay, as people look down through certain sections in your website, I like to call these things cash registers. These are the little buttons that are on the website, that help convert, right? And these clear call to actions of schedule an appointment, or call us today, or get a free estimate, right, is another one that we see a lot. You want these things that are scattered all throughout every single landing page, right? The more of these cash registers that you have, the more your website's going to convert, right? And a great example is we just launched a redesign of a client's website, right? He came to us, and the very first thing that we did was redesign their website. And in this redesign, right, we did all of the things that we know you need in order to convert on a website. Clear call to actions, benefit-driven headlines, personalization, phone number in the upper right-hand corner, a little chat feature, all of these things, right? All these things combined. And he called us about 2 weeks afterwards, right? And just kind of a follow-up call. And we were talking, and he's like, I love the website. It's awesome. And the thing that I've noticed is that my call volume has gone way up, right? And we haven't even really done any marketing at that point. It was just literally just changing out the website and making it more personalized, adding those call to actions and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, I'm getting in the weeds here, but your reputation is the very foundation. And that's, to me, that is a high converting website and online reviews. And so a question that I get is, what is a high converting website? A high converting website is something that converts at least 5 to 10% of your traffic is converting into leads. Someone is calling you from your website. Someone is filling out a form for a free estimate or hitting a chat feature, something like that, right? So you want anywhere in between actually 5 to 10% is really what I think is a high converting website. Okay. There's a lot of stuff that goes into that, conversion rate optimization and all that kind of stuff. But these are the things that we see. Okay. So that's the reputation pillar. The reach pillar is simply getting in front of more people today than knew you yesterday. Okay. This is where most marketers spend their time. So the reason I put this second, not first, right? Most companies get this wrong, and they work on let's try out some Facebook ads. Let's try out Instagram ads. Let's work on some search engine optimization or some pay-per-click ads. These are all things that fit inside the reach pillar. Okay. And that's great. But again, if your reputation, if your foundation isn't solid, right? If it's not working, nothing is going to work above it. Okay. Okay. Quick note here, right? So on the reach pillar, we've got search engine optimization, Google Maps, Google Ads, Facebook ads, content marketing, social media. These are all of the things that are working right now. Okay. For roofers to get leads into their business. Okay. And again, this is just simply getting in front of more people today than knew you yesterday. Now, I call this entire framework, right? For our roofing marketing system, I call this evergreen simply because you can take certain things out, right? And replace it with other things that work. Some of these things are going to eventually stop working, right? A great example of this is the Yellow Pages. The Yellow Pages, when I first went into business 20 some odd years ago, that was where most businesses, the vast majority of businesses, marketed. That was the first part, right? That was the first stop was okay, call the Yellow Pages. When can we get into the Yellow Pages? And come to find out 5, 10, 15 years later, Yellow Pages stopped working. In fact, I literally got a Yellow Pages book in the mail the other day, and I'm in College Station, Texas, so it's not a huge market like Houston or Dallas, right? But it was literally like a magazine, right? The actual Yellow Pages. I mean, it was tiny, and I remember growing up on the Yellow Pages, and it was like 3 inches thick. When that's what your mom would make you sit on, right, to be able to reach the table. So my point here is that no longer works. So that is not in this framework anymore. Okay. So we took that out a long time ago. In fact, I never once marketed inside of the Yellow Pages, right? I always saw Google for what it was. I saw Google that it was going to replace the Yellow Pages, and sure enough, it has. Okay. That, and again, this $1,000 machine that is sitting in everybody's pocket. Okay. All right. So that's the reach pillar. Resell is the next one. All right. So it's important to resell back to the people that have purchased from you before. Okay. So we've got certain things in this pillar like that are working really, really well right now. Database reactivation. And I'll go through what each of these are here in a minute, but database reactivation, retargeting ads, lead nurturing, and monthly newsletters. Okay. These are the main items inside of the resell pillar that are working really, really well. Okay. So what is a database reactivation? Well, this is simply campaigns that go out to your database, right, to reactivate them, to get them to call you again. These might be people that have purchased, a roof from you before. Okay. These might be people that have gotten gutters, siding, windows, anything like that. Right. So a good example of what a database reactivation is I've got a client that came to us that is residential, and they focus on roofs, but they also do siding, and they also do windows. Okay. So we simply we took their entire database from the past 20 years, okay, and ran it through our system and sent out emails and text messages, and their phones blew up. right? Because these people who they had not bothered to get in touch with in the past 10, 15, 20 years, right? We're like, wow, yes, actually, I do need some help. And so the text message campaigns, these were just people that we had mobile phones for, right? And it super simple. We kept them conversational, and the fact that, you know, the message went out was basically, hey, this is Joe from AAA Roofing. You've worked with us in the past. Just curious if you have any needs now. We currently do siding and windows and roofing. Do you need anything? And so they would get people that texted back, yes, actually I do. I'm looking at windows right now. Can you all come out? So, you know, this was a great way to resell back to the people that have purchased from them before, right? Because you're literally, if you did a great job, you're 8 times more likely to get that sale, right? And it's so much quicker, easier, faster, and less money spent on, you know, reaching back into the people that you've worked with before. Okay, so that's what a database reactivation campaign is basically. Retargeting ads. Retargeting ads are basically if someone comes to your website, you want to follow them around with ads. We do this on 2 platforms, and this has changed over the past year, but it's still essentially the same. You know, but if someone comes to my website, they're going to get ads. You're going to get ads from inside of Facebook, inside of Instagram, because those are the same platform there. You're also going to get ads on the Google network, because we also do retargeting ads on Google network, right? In which Google network is very vast. I mean, you could be on CNN.com and my ads will be popping up. Okay. We do the same thing with our clients. And by doing something like this right here, it makes you seem omnipresent, right? It makes it seem like you're just everywhere, right? And the reason that we run these types of ads is because it takes, and these are new statistics that I just heard recently, you know, it takes anywhere in between 15 and 20 touches before someone will actually make a decision. Now in the roofing industry, that's not always true. You know, if someone's roof is leaking, they're going to call, you know, but let's say it is that siding, you know, that someone's thinking about replacing. Well, they're going to do their research, right? So they're going to go to 5 to 10 companies, right? Well, the ones that are following them around with ads keep coming up and going, oh yeah, I need to call AAA. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. These guys really seem to know what they're doing. So it reinforces this omnipresence principle to make you kind of that best known roofer in your area, right? So that's what retargeting ads are. Lead nurturing. Well, this has kind of been a new thing in the entire industry in the past like 5 years or so. So lead nurturing is basically when you get a lead in, right? Whether that's someone calling you, whether that's someone texting you, whether that's someone filling out a form or hitting you up on Facebook, right? Or hitting you up on Instagram, DM, or someone, you know, hitting you up on Google My Business direct message, you know, you've got to have a way to not only just track them, right? To track that lead came in. You've also got to be able to follow up and basically just follow up with them, right? I mean, that's just a basic, simple, you know, sales principle, right? That the money's in the follow-up. Well, very few roofers actually do this. And we've got all of our clients in a CRM that we call it the appointment machine, right? It's something that helps for us to determine, one, is marketing working or not working, you know, and then we help our clients out with some sales stuff too, right? So we noticed this one roofer that was closing his leads that were coming in at about 80%, right? Most of the others were about 20 to 25%. So we called him up and we're like, hey, what's the deal? What are you doing that's different, right? And he said that it was because he was following up via text message, right? So when someone called and he wasn't able to take the call, right, he would text that person back and say, hey, I'm with a customer right now, or I'm up on a roof or whatever, right? And I'm busy right now, but can I give you a call back? When's a good time for me to call? And they most of the time they would respond back. So the next day, and if they hadn't followed up again, right? They, or if they didn't text back, he followed up with them, okay, via text message again. Hey, this is Joe with AAA Roofing. You called yesterday. I missed your phone call. So sorry about that. When's a good time for me to call? And he just kept doing this every single day, right? Because following up, right? He's a good salesman. So he did this about 4 to 5 times, right? Before they either one told him to go away or two, said, hey, call me at 1. So we're like, man, that is genius. You're texting them, right? And so we started asking around to our other roofers. They're like, okay, so what are you guys doing? And nothing. We'll call, but they won't pick up, or I'll email them. So we started building these lead nurture campaigns, these follow-up campaigns for our roofers, and we started implementing these. And one roofer, right? We called this the missed call, follow-up campaign. One roofer, and this was last year, I noticed he was only picking up 1 in 10 of his calls, right? Because he was busy. And I asked him, I said, well, what can we do here? And I showed him what this other roofer had done, and can I implement this? And he's, sure, whatever, so we implemented it for him, right, in our CRM. And he called us like a week later. He was like, I don't know what you did, but you have just like tripled the size of my company easily by this one campaign, right? Because people are texting me back, or texting me, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, yeah, I'll call you back at that time. So just by doing something simple like that, it's a little tiny lever that pushed a huge bit of business for this one roofer, right? And so all of our clients get this lead nurturing, built into everything that we do, because it's that important. Okay, so I spent a lot of time on that. Monthly newsletter. If you're not running a monthly newsletter, you should be. Okay. And the reason is that you're staying in front, you're staying top of mind, you're staying in front of the people who have purchased from you before. And so this is a simple thing that if you're doing blogs on your website, which you should be, notice, remember, and reach, content marketing was one of those activities. If you're doing content marketing, you're blogging on your website, then, that's content that you can reshare in your newsletter. Okay. So, and a newsletter, I mean, you can run that on MailChimp, you can run that on Constant Contact. We've got it built into our CRM. Do something like that. And you just make that part of your activities every single month, right? And you stay top of mind. So when they do have a problem, they're like, oh yeah, AAA, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I've got an issue. I need to call them. All right. So I've talked a lot and I'm almost done here. All right. The fourth pillar here is referral. Most small businesses are built on referrals. Okay. However, as you grow, as the company grows, it is very hard to ask for referrals. It's hard to build a system, when you're passing it from business owner to sales staff, right? To ask for those referrals, even though this is going to be the most trusted lead that you're going to get, the most trusted sale that you're going to make, right? So anyways, just like with our other roofer, we built in a system that asks for those referrals. Okay. And this is an important thing to do, and make it a system, make it part of your closeout, your job closeout, right? Is that if you want to hit them at their peak happy moment, right? Both on online reviews as well as the referrals. Okay. You want to hit them when they're really, really happy with you. And typically that's when you close out the job. Okay. So on both of those items, on online reviews and referrals, I tell all of my roofers, go ahead and have your sales staff ask, right? But typically they're just going to ask once for it. Let's build in a system that when you close out a job, you fill out a form, and these things are, the people that you worked with are put into this system that asks them for the reviews, that asks them for a referral, right? And the other way to make sure that your referral system is working is to ensure that you have them properly incentivized, right? Most people aren't going to refer on their own unless they're really super, super happy for you or happy with you. Most people will, if you're incentivizing them, even just a little bit, they'll be happy to refer out. Okay. So what do I mean by incentivize? I tell all my roofers, get with Texas Roadhouse. Texas Roadhouse you can buy gift cards. Everybody loves Texas Roadhouse, everybody, right? Whether you're a meat eater or not. Well, I guess not if you're not a meat eater, but but most people do like Texas Roadhouse. And so you get a gift card, right? That they'll put your logo on it. And that's why I like Texas Roadhouse. Okay. Beyond that, they have really nice steaks. They have love their butter and bread that you get. Most people love those things. So anyways, it's get little gift card goes a long way. Okay. Let your customers know, hey, if you refer anybody to us, we're going to give you $100 gift card to Texas Roadhouse. Okay. Something simple like that can really, really increase business, which is why this is the top of the pillar. All of the pillars here. And I've got social media on here because you want to stay top of mind, right? Even though reach, we talk about, social media, you're still reaching out, but people who follow you on Instagram or on Twitter or on LinkedIn or on Facebook, or now TikTok is getting real hot, right? If you're constantly posting there, you're staying top of mind, right? And just hit in every once in a while. Hey, if you've worked with us before, we'd love to get a referral from you, or we'd love for you to refer us out. If you do, you get this $100 gift card from Texas Roadhouse, right? Something like that is a very simple thing to do, to throw into the whole marketing mix every once in a while, but makes a huge, huge difference. Okay. All right. So that's the 4R marketing system. Okay. And we have these specific activities in here, right? These specific strategies in here for roofers, because we know these things work. Okay. Again, we can take activities out of each one of these pillars, right, and replace them with something that works as it comes down the road. Okay. Okay. So what does this actually look like, right? This is basically how we package up what we do for our clients. But basically, we start with a high conversion website. We work on reputation. All of the green items, by the way, are the kind of our first steps. These are our first couple of months that we're working with the client and everything that we're working on for them. Okay. The light blue ones are kind of our next steps. And then the dark blue ones are kind of that top of, the top of pillar type activities that we're working on our clients with. Right. So start with a high conversion website. Then we start working on their reputation, right? Meaning that their online reviews specifically. Make sure that they're getting those, that we send out an initial campaign, right, to all of their clients that they've ever worked with in the past and say, hey, would you mind going to Google and letting us know how we did? Next thing, local SEO. SEO has evolved so much in the past 20 years. I've seen it personally happen. Like I said, I first started working in the SEO industry, whether I knew it or not, okay, was in 1998. And by 2005, my clients were begging me to do for them what I'd already done for myself. And back then we were a web design company, and here in College Station. And at that time, I had taken up all 10 spots for web design College Station and every other term that came along with that. And people it was funny when they searched around, for other web designers, they'd get me and they'd be like, didn't I just talk with you? And I'm like, yes, you did. Let's do some business. So, anyways, local SEO is super, super important. If you don't have a presence on Google, right, you're missing out on a lot of traffic. So we work on Google. Well, I meant to update this, but in the past couple of months, they have changed from Google My Business to Google Business Profile, right? They changed their name, but it's still the same exact platform. Okay. So Google My Business, Google Business, Google, business profile, right? It's hard to say, is super important, right? And you got to make sure that you're optimized, that you're actually pulling up in the 3-pack, when people search. Okay. It's one of the main parts of the search engine result page. Okay. So you've got ads, you've got the 3-pack, which is the map pack, right? And then you've got organic listings. Well, when Google moved the maps area from the right of a normal desktop search to the first part, to the first section that people see, that changed how local SEO is really done, in my opinion. Before, we used to be focused solely on organic listings, getting number one. But now we focus on those 3-packs, and then we also focus on the organic listings, because we want to make sure that we take up as many spots as we can on Google. Okay. So what do you do for local SEO? We work on their Google My Business, optimizing that. We do work on online profiles, just simple things to set up. Is your site listed on the NRCA website? Is your site listed on, if you're in Texas, the RCAT site, right? And if so, does it link back to your website? Does it have the proper phone number, name, address, and phone number on there? Okay. All of these things you want to make sure align. As well as other places, there's tons and tons of directories out there, which is what the citation alignment is. And what a citation is just simply name, address, and phone number. And Google specifically likes to see that all 3 of those things are aligned throughout the entire internet. And they reward you by putting you a little bit higher, in the listings. Okay. And then the last thing here is you see 400 local content and city pages. So back when we first started doing SEO for our clients in 2005, we would build out a page that matched the search exactly, right? So if someone was looking for a roofer in College Station, we would build a page that said roofer in College Station. If they did a search for a roofing company in College Station, we would do a page that said roofing company in College Station. Okay, so we started building out pages after pages after pages, and when my current business partner and I got together in 2014, he's a software builder. He likes building software, and he's great at automation type stuff. So he asked me, well, what's your biggest bottleneck right now? And I went back to the team, and then came back and I said, well, it's landing pages, building out those pages for all of our clients and making them unique. And we can only do like 20 or 30 per year or so, right, at our current price point. And so he built some software for us that we use, that we plug into our clients' websites, that we can literally build 4,000, 5,000 landing pages. And what that means is that we can build out the specific search terms that match up with the search, right? Or sorry, the specific key terms, right, on a landing page, on a page that exists, that Google can see, that is completely optimized for Google, right? And we can build up to 4,000 of those. So with all of our clients, we start with 400 of those pages, and then every quarter we add 400 more. Okay, so these are always the key term, right, which really comes down to your services, right, plus city pages. Okay, so let's say, take that Windows example, it would be Windows in Denton, Texas, right? Or window replacement in Denton, Texas, or siding replacement in Denton, Texas, or siding replacement company in Denton. So you see what I'm doing. You can easily multiply those things out, right? And with our tool, we can actually build all of those things. And it makes a massive footprint on the internet for you. Okay, so content, we have tested and tested and tested and tested, and that's what I feel that we always do. We're always testing, right? You cannot rank a website without content, meaning those landing pages, right? You cannot also rank a website without feeding the search engine spiders. Okay, so we use blogs to feed search engine spiders, and we do it every single month for our clients, month in and month out. And what we've noticed is that the clients that really don't want content on their website and don't let us add content to their website, their rankings suffer. Okay. And so my theory here is that the search engine spiders love to be fed. Okay. And so I call this spider food, right? You're constantly feeding those search engine spiders to get to your website. Now, is there a sweet spot? There is. We've noticed is about 4 blogs per month is kind of the sweet spot that we see, to bring the search engine spiders to your site. Okay. So what is this kind of content? Well, it's typically educational in nature. It's evergreen as much as we can possibly make it. This is things like, 10 things to look for on your roof, right? To make sure, and I'm horrible at coming up with titles, but we have a whole writing staff that does all that stuff. But 5 things you need to know about ice dams, right? What to look for on your roof to make sure that you're going to make it through storm season, right? So, things like that. You just want to constantly be educating your audience, right? Which is good for sales anyways, because it positions you as an expert in your industry. Okay. So we take that blog content, we put it on the website, then we share it out to everywhere that we can possibly share it out to. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Google My Business. If you've got a Pinterest, we'll put it on Pinterest. I mean, just as much as you can possibly put out there, because you're sending all these signals to Google, that you're a legitimate business, right? And you're feeding it that search engine spider food. Okay. Recent projects, service pages. These are just kind of no-brainers, right? These are things that you want on your website anyways. All right. I'm kind of talking too much. It's 11:43. Sorry. I'm going to speed through the rest of these things, not get too in the weeds. So the next steps are Google Ads. You want to make sure that I like to use Google Ads at the beginning of a client relationship. And that's because that's some quick wins. You can get in front of clients. It does take money, especially if you're in a more competitive market, right? So if you're up in the DFW area, there's literally 2,000 roofing companies up there, I think, right? So you've got 2,000 people that are vying for, the top 10 in the organic area, the top 3 in the maps area, and the top 3 typically that are ads at the very top of every search engine result page, right? So it's going to take money, right? We notice that if you're in a very competitive area like that, we like to target kind of smaller areas first. So let's say, if you're in the DFW area, maybe Denton, right? Or McKinney, and you just target those smaller areas, right? And there's still a lot of competition up there for those, but you're going to pay less than Dallas, right? Or Fort Worth, or, Tarrant County, or whatever, so, all right. So, you want to run Google Ads for sure, because you're going to get leads in consistently. You're going to get them in now versus waiting for 6 months for SEO to work, which is typically what we see anywhere in between 3 and 6 months that search engine optimization starts kicking in. Okay. The next step is social media. Social media, that's a no-brainer. You need to be doing social media. You need to be posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google My Business, all these places, right? And what do you post? Well, you post your blogs, okay? You post before and after pictures, testimonials from your clients. Did you know that you own those testimonials, those reviews, right? So what you can do is take screenshots of those straight from Google and post them into Facebook or Instagram, right? You don't want to do them all the time. You want to kind of mix it up and have a social media calendar, but having 1 or 2 of those a week probably is not a bad idea. Another thing that I've been telling clients is get a video testimonial. Take out that $1,000 machine that's in your pocket. When that customer is happy, right? And you say, hey, would you mind saying that on video, right? And a lot of times they're going to say, sure. And you ask them 3 questions. You ask them, who are you? Where are you? Right? What did we do for you? And what would you tell someone sitting on the fence on hiring us? Just ask those 3 questions, put a bit in a video, post it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, post it everywhere. And that's really when you start winning that social media game, which goes to the next step here, which are social ads. Then you take that content and then you boost that content, right? Those testimonials, those video testimonials, right? The reason that we do those videos is because they're a lot cheaper for ads. Okay. You can get video views all the way down to 1 cent. And I've got a friend, Dennis Yu, that calls this his $1 a day ad technique, right? Is that to get these videos of someone else talking about you, about your business, and posting that, and then sharing it and boosting it for $1 a day on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and wherever, right? It's short, and it's them selling you versus you selling yourself, okay, which people are going to pay more attention to. Next one is email marketing. We talked about that. Email is so important. You've got to have an email list. You've got to be building your email list. I mean, 2020 taught us this, right? The businesses that during shutdown, the businesses that did not have a database full of people to get in front of and let them know, hey, we're still in business. If they weren't doing that, they are now. Okay. And in fact, if they didn't have a database, they suffered. And most of those businesses, we noticed, they went away. Most of these were restaurants and gyms that had an extended period of time that they were shut down. They weren't essential like roofers, but if they didn't have a database, right? If they weren't in front of if they didn't have a way to get in front of their customers or their potential customers, their business really suffered, right? So always be building your database and getting in front of them on a monthly basis, at the very least, okay? The other part of what I have here is consultation funnel, nurture email series. We already kind of talked about those things, but super important things, little things that can really drive sales. All right, I have talked a lot. So here's the plan. All right, these are the things to focus on now. All right, the 2020s have dramatically changed what we're all focused on in marketing, right? And that's because during 2020, just like we just talked about, right, during lockdown, buyer behavior shifted. It shifted in a dramatic way, right? And when I say that simply means that people will go online before they do anything nowadays, right? And that was starting to happen before, but I tell you what, ever since that happened, it has been nothing but, right? People going online and researching, and before they reach out to roofers, unless there's a serious problem with the roof, right, and they need help right now, they're still going to research and find the top 3 on Google, right? They're going to go to that 3-pack. So if you're not there, you've got an issue. Okay. So what should you focus on right now? Number one, absolutely number one in my mind is online reviews. Okay. And that's because, again, that's your foundation. I have also seen that the clients who went from 0 or 10 reviews to 100 reviews, they're being rewarded by Google, right? And being pushed up in the rankings. So online reviews is a huge part of that. That would be number one on my list. Number 2, make sure that your website is solid, that it's mobile, that it's fast, that it actually sells. Okay. Focus on that website. Number 3, work on your long-term strategy, which is SEO, search engine optimization, getting ranked on Google. Okay. This is something that should be constantly being worked on, constantly being improved, constantly being adjusted to Google's newest standards. They change literally 600 plus times a year. So keeping up with them is kind of a pain. And I've got a whole webinar on this that I'll do next month. But how do you rank on Google hasn't changed a whole lot in the past 20 years if you're doing it right. So but in my opinion, every single business in the entire world should be working on their SEO strategy. Google My Business, again, more important than ever. I can't stress that enough. You know, most of the leads that we're seeing, most of the phone calls that we're seeing for most of our roofers, most of our other clients with Marketing Heroes are coming from Google My Business. Okay. So that should be part of your overall strategy. Short-term strategy should be pay-per-click, right? And then we talked about that. I'd get those things going now if you don't have them. Put a budget behind it. If you're in the DFW area, I would put at least $5,000, $10,000 behind it, right? That's literally one roof, right? And I know that's the entire roof. For some of y'all, you know, some of you guys are charging, you know, you're in better areas, so you can charge more, right? But the average roof is what, $10,000, $15,000, you know, put that budget behind it initially, get the ball rolling if you don't have any kind of pay-per-click strategy going. And then sales, lead nurturing, right? Work on that. Just like in my example with texting someone back the second that they call, right? Or maybe 30 seconds, right? You don't want to wait too long. You also don't want to make it look like a robot. So we actually, in our campaigns, we have a 1 minute wait, you know, built into the campaign, so it doesn't look like a robot. And then it kicks out that text message. Okay. You don't want to wait anything past, you know, 5-10 minutes though, because at that point they've already moved on. They've already gone on to somebody else. Okay. But nurture that lead, follow up, right? Have that campaign built in, even if you're doing it by hand. All right. So it's 11:53. I don't think we have time for this. I was going to try. I talked way too much. I apologize. I was going to work on a plan with someone. You know, but you can do this. Go to roofingsites.com/score sheet. Okay. Again, that's roofingsites.com/score sheet. So what this is we built a little tool here, and I'm going to pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up here. It's just a little tool that you just answer questions. Okay. Copy it first to your Google Drive, and just simply go through here and answer the questions, right? So do you have your phone number at the top right corner of every page? Check it, yes or no, right? Well, check it if you do. If you don't, then don't check it. And just go through this. And on the next page here under results, it'll tell you really what you're not doing so good in. Okay. And then you just simply go through here and prioritize, you know, what you should work on. Okay. So, you know, like for instance, step 1 is reputation, right? I've got, you know, website conversions, reputation, all built in here. So I would work on these things first. Reach is the next one, resell, referral. Okay. So just each of those sections have things that you just simply answer the questions, and it'll score you based off of that, and let you know at the very end in the results tab, really how you're doing. Okay. Okay. So there's that. Just go there. I'll leave, when this goes on to YouTube, I'll leave the link down in the bottom. That way you can go there, you can grab it, you can score yourself if you want to. This is something that I like to have in hand when I talk with a client. So I have my staff go through and answer the questions that they can. And then during our initial call, I'll ask some of the questions that we're not quite sure about, you know, like an email list and stuff like that. Okay. Oops, hit the wrong button. Okay, so what are your top 3 things to work on now, right? I'm just throwing this out here. Reviews, website, pay-per-click ads. Okay, those would be the top 3. And the 4th one, I would say SEO for your long-term strategy. Okay, and Google My Business and all of those top 6 things are really just take one each month and work on those. Okay. Okay, any questions? I'm going to open this up for questions. If you want to, just unmute yourself, and or throw it into the chat if you want to, and I can answer any questions that you have. I know I went through a whole bunch of stuff here. Any questions, Jared? I'm going to put you on the spot.
No, I don't think I have any specific questions on it. I at the moment.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we'll move on then. I have some announcements to make. Okay, so let me get back to this. Oops. All right. Oops, I put the I don't know which screen that I'm doing the everything on. This funny. I didn't mean to put the chat thing in there. All right, so announcements. My upcoming book. I've been working on this book for years and years and years, right? I want to say at least 3 to 4 years. And just like a typical entrepreneur, I start something and then get it about 90% there and then squirreled away. And then when I came back to it, something has changed, right? Because marketing is constantly changing. So this book, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers, I'm happy to say, very happy to say, I am this close to finishing it up. I've got 2 chapters left to put some finishing touches on, send it over to the editors and get it formatted and all that kind of stuff. And then it will be up on Amazon, I'm hoping by the beginning of May. If you'd like an advanced copy of The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers, let me know, email me, and I will send you a signed copy, right, when it is completed. This is like I said, I've been working on it for a really long time. I kept looking back at it and every time something would change, right? So Google My Business would change or Facebook would change, you know, and all the screenshots had to be redone or you know, it was a mess. I finally decided at the beginning of this quarter to finish this darn thing and get this thing released. So it's going to be in Kindle format. It's going to be in, you know, a paper book format. I'm not sure on hardback. I haven't made that decision on that one yet. And I eventually will do an Audible that goes along with it. So you can listen to it in your truck as you're driving around. All right, next announcement is podcast. So I run another podcast called Aggie Growth Hacks that where me and my co-host, we interview successful Aggie entrepreneurs, find out their growth hacks, and we share them with the Aggie entrepreneur community. Well, I figured, you know what, this would be kind of a cool concept to bring this to the roofing community. So that's where I'm at anyways, right? So I have been lining up interviews for the past month, and we're going to be releasing this hopefully soon. I'm trying to get at least 6 episodes recorded and over to my podcast company to be released. I'm hoping early Q3, might be a little bit sooner, depending if I can get the ball rolling on those recordings. But if you are interested on getting in front of a larger audience, okay, and using the materials that we're creating, right, to promote each of these podcast episodes, we're giving that away to anyone who's our interviewees, okay? So it's just material that you can use that presents you as an expert in the industry, okay? All of our Aggie entrepreneurs love how they get to utilize, you know, all of this material, including the MP3, including the MP4, including the talking geek speak, the video and the audio file, and you know, all the images, the blog posts, all those types of things that we're doing for ourselves. We're going to give to you know, our interviewees to be able to go out there and promote it yourself, okay, and to promote yourself with it. If you're interested, just email me. My email is right down here, chris.hunter@roofingsites.com. Last announcement, I'm putting together a course, right? And this is going to come right after the book is released. So this is going to be a companion course that goes along with the Ultimate Guide for Digital Marketing for Roofers. So the reason I'm doing this is because not everyone can afford to pay a company like roofingsites.com to do all of your marketing stuff, you know, and to be your outsourced marketing department. And so what I've decided is that I'm going to take all this knowledge that I've developed in the past 20 years, and I'm going to package it up into a course that we're going to sell at a much lower price than what you're going to pay for someone to do it. But it's going to teach you how to build a marketing team. And we're going to give you all the way down to checklists that we use, kind of like what we talked about there with that audit. We've got SOPs for doing search engine optimization. All of this stuff is going to be included with this course. Okay. I think it's going to be super valuable. You're going to be able to take and build an entire marketing team for your roofing company. So that's going to be released sometime soon after the book. So probably around June, I'm thinking sometime in there. We're busy packaging everything up right now. And doing, training videos and stuff like that. That's going to be there. Here we go. All right. Upcoming. Sorry, I wasn't clicking through. Upcoming webinars. The next webinar is going to be on May 20th. Go ahead and add this to your calendar. May 20th, 2022 at 11 a.m. And it's going to be the 2022 guide to SEO for roofers. Next one after that is June 17th. It's going to be the 2022 guide for Google My Business for roofers. And actually this needs to now be GBP, Google Business Profile for roofers. July 22nd is going to be the guide to Google Ads. Okay. So if you need help with any of those things, be sure to show up here at the webinar just for hopefully valuable information. And we can go through that stuff again. Okay, so what now? All right, here's the pitch. If you're tired of wasting time and money with ineffective marketing, if you need a system that helps you make more sales, and if you'd like to free yourself from chasing leads, book a strategy session with me at www.roofingsites.com/schedule, or just go to roofingsites.com, and it's the big green button in the upper right-hand corner that says schedule a meeting. I'm more than happy to help. Even if you don't want to hire us, that's fine. Come find out what's wrong with your marketing, right? And what you need to fix. More than happy. Like I said, my BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal is to help 100 roofing companies double in size before 2025. Okay. So part of that mission, part of that goal is to help as many of y'all as I possibly can. I've looked at literally thousands of roofing websites, Google My Businesses, Facebook, Instagrams, you name it. I've looked at it and I know what works and doesn't work. Okay. So book a meeting with me and let's go over it, see how, what you need to fix. And if you want to hire us, great. If not, you've got, something great in hand, to take, if you need to take it to your boss, right, that's fine. If you're the owner, this is what you need to do. Okay. So anyways, thanks so much for watching and showing up and everything. And until next month, have a great month. Thanks.